friends, Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time. And I'm here today to talk about my channel and the kind of things that you can expect. And if you've been following me since I first started, well, pretty much all the same kind of things that you've been seeing coming from me, and maybe a little bit more. So if you're new to my channel, I did want to cover a few things because I get a lot of questions, and there's a lot of things that just make my channel a little bit unique. And the first thing is that our content is very eclectic. So if you watched our opening video that we shot, oh gosh, maybe 5 years ago, that I had a different one before that, and then Patrick and I shot one together, but things have changed a lot since that video was shot, and someday I need to do a new intro video, but I like that one. I just don't think I'll ever be able to quite catch the essence of that because we were just having fun out there. But since shooting that intro video, we have since acquired a couple more pieces of property, though we're still doing all of our gardening and other homesteading related stuff just right here in our little shy 1/3 acre lot in a neighborhood. Thankfully, it's a corner lot. It does make some things easier. So as far as all that kind of stuff, that happens here. I do have videos out on like our property that's just down the road and mostly what that's used for. I shot a new one last year that I'll go ahead and link to in the description box down below if you're curious. And one of these days, we'll do a more in-depth video about the piece that we bought way outside of town and what we plan on doing with that. We still haven't really done much there other than Patrick has taken some gravel out there and cleared a little bit of area, and that's about it. Done much because it's kind of a drive to get to it, and it's a full day job to go down there and do anything. When I first started my channel, it was because people, I make things up. I make recipes up for all kinds of different things, be they medicinal extracts or skin cream or shampoo or hairspray or food related recipes. I'm always making things up, and I don't even do everything the same every time. The skin cream I do because that had to be very specific, and so I had to develop it and work with it for a while. But other things might be, I'm just throwing stuff together, and I would, show pictures, and people say, recipe, please. And I'd be like, well, I don't really have one. It's just up here. So I decided, well, why not start making videos so I can show people how I do things, which is why in my early videos, you would never have seen any written recipes because it was just me showing them to you because, well, I don't use written recipes most of the time. But I have been trying to be more diligent in that and actually taking time to type up at least a basic written recipe that you can work off of, at least so you can have your base ingredients and a general idea of how much you need. And because I know some people, they really, really need a written recipe for that. So I have been trying to be better about that in the last couple of years. I have how-to videos on various different sewing projects that you can do, even how to make the patchwork skirts and much more. I have a whole series on crochet videos where I start off with the very, very basics. So if you've never crocheted before, I show you how to get started. And then I have several videos in that playlist on some just simple projects that you can do, or and working up to a few more difficult things such as making afghans and whatnot, and just giving you some, like I have one on how to make the Irish rose square, which you can then just make a bunch of those squares and make a big old afghan out of it. I also have one of the other focuses on my channel right off the bat was doing herb profiles. So that means picking an herb, be it a culinary herb, a medicinal herb, and since I've added to that too, even talking about specific foods like Brazil nuts and chocolate and just all the health benefits of these things and how you can use them the various different ways. So I have right now it's over 90 videos in that one playlist because it's been something I've been building on for the past 7 years, over 7 years now. I do have videos on how to make your own medicinal extracts, how to make your own skin cream and hairspray, mascara, and so much more. And Patrick also contributes to this channel with his own videos. He doesn't put out as many videos. Usually they publish on a Wednesday. And they're going to be anything related to automobiles, heavy equipment, repair work. Sometimes it's just projects he's sharing with you, but he does have some that are how-tos. He has videos showing how he makes some of his wood-made products using a wood lathe. He's got metal lathe projects that he shows. He even has a video showing how to make a drying rack for your wood stove out of old bed rails and so much more. So all his videos are actually in one playlist just called Mr. Rain's Projects and How-Tos. I'm not even sure how many are in there, but I think I have created at least one or two other playlists. One is specifically just for all the Wood Miser related videos. So that's his sawmill. So he has quite a few in there where he shows how he uses it. He also has quite a few that is just about repairing various things on it, because he did buy it used. Like most of the heavy equipment we have, everything was bought used. And so he's got a lot of videos on just repair work or creating things or fabricating things instead of running down to the store and buying it. And then, of course, I have lots of videos on gardening, and right off the bat, past 7 years, lots of garden videos out there, and always adding more. And then of course, I do videos on just general self-sufficiency, preparedness. And also, one of the things I've been trying to get out there more and more is inspirational videos. Anything that will help keep you, because we all have those moments where we're just like, oh, we feel weighted down, or we just can't do it all, or you just can't do enough, or you're just starting out. And really, it all comes down to the same thing. Just start small with one thing at a time. And just be encouraged. Don't feel like you got to do it like everyone else, or have as much skill or food storage or big garden like other people have. You just have to start somewhere and do what you're able to do with your limited resources and space and so on. So I do a lot of videos on that and just give ideas on how to help people. Like if you have small space, but you're wanting to really store some food up, how you can make the most of your small space. I have a video just on that as well. And that's just some of them. I have all kinds of different topics out there. So let's move on to the next thing I wanted to cover. Is one thing that I get quite a bit from people is that, well, I talk too much. And so if you're new to my channel, if you haven't figured it out already, some people think I talk too much. And maybe I do. For some, there's a couple things you need to understand. I try to be very thorough. In my early videos, I wasn't thorough enough. I actually did talk too much about stuff that didn't matter, and I wasn't thorough enough about the stuff that did. So I learned how to be more specific, keep it to the topic, unless I felt that whatever I said was a good thing to add in, but also be thorough, because I understand after 7 years, believe me, I know all the kinds of questions I'm going to get. You may already know all the answers to those questions, so you wouldn't need to ask them, but other people don't. And you might be surprised of the kind of questions I get and the kind of things that people just starting out have no clue on. A lot of these things are things that we simply take for granted, and we don't always think to mention them. And so you got to understand, I got to be thorough. If I'm teaching people, especially people who are brand new to doing a lot of this stuff, I got to be as thorough as possible. If all that stuff doesn't apply to you, skip to the parts that are. It's not that hard to do. Or there's another thing that a lot of people do. If time is an issue, simply play my videos on a faster speed, and just understand you're getting all of this information. I'm teaching, okay? And you're getting it all for free. You're not sitting for an hour in an expensive university class and only being, picking out a little few things that matter to you, but it still costs you the same for that whole class. You're getting all this information for free. So complaining about the excess information that you didn't need but somebody else did need is like being invited to somebody's house for a dinner that you didn't have to pay for, that you didn't even have to bring anything for, and then complaining about the side dishes that you didn't like. So, just remember that when you're coming to my channel, you're coming to my house, I'm teaching you for free. And when you complain about the too much information, you're complaining about the side dish that maybe somebody else needed and you didn't want. And with that being said, now I'm not at all in any way gonna slam on any other content creator that chooses to have pay-per-view kind of sites or special clubs where you have to pay to be a part to get more information. Everybody has to find their own way to help make it worth their time to give you the information they have, because all of this is work. It is time. And I don't know how many of you people out there would go work a full-time job 5 days a week, 8 hours or more every single day and expect to get paid nothing. So a lot of people have things set up in such a way where they can earn an income while still sharing with you this information. And everybody's going to have their own way of going about that. And through the years, I've made sure that all the information I offer you is out there for free, that you do not have to pay for any of the information. So I don't have any special clubs that require you to pay to be a part of or to glean information from. And that includes Patreon. A lot of people assume that just because someone has a Patreon account, that means that they have to pay to be able to view the content. Well, that's not true. It all really depends on the content creator. Every so often I have to sign out of my account and then go to Patreon as if I don't have an account and look and see how my page looks. And then I realize that when people go there, right at the top, see, this doesn't show for me when I'm logged in, you'll see all these donation boxes. And people won't go any farther than that. All you have to do, if you can't afford to donate, I never ask. I never, ever ask for donations, and I don't require them. All you have to do is just scroll past and keep scrolling down. In every single post that I've put on Patreon over the years is open. I make sure that nobody has to pay a single cent to be able to view the posts. Now, one thing I have noticed is that unless you're specifically following my Patreon page, and so you'd have to have a Patreon account, you may not see all the posts. You can only scroll down so far. I think that's a little bit weird. But whenever I put a Patreon link that's specific to that link, so let's say I have my recipe video out for my herbal pain and inflammation extract, then below that in the description box, you'll find a link to the actual written recipe, since, like I said, I've been trying to be good at doing that in the recent years. And so when you click on that link, it should take you directly to that without even being logged in. You don't even have to have a Patreon account to do that. But if you're just going to try to browse through and you don't have a Patreon account, you'll only see the last, I don't know, is 5, 6, maybe more posts, and you can't go past that. I don't know why. That's something new that they've changed. It really kind of irritates me, but just know that if I supply the link below the video, it doesn't matter if you have a Patreon account or not. You should be able to open that right up because it's public. I make everything public, and you don't have to pay a dime. I never ask. So that's just the way I'm set up. So now you may be asking, well, then how do you make money? If you're new, you might not know this. How do you make money if we don't have to pay you anything? Well, there's various different ways I go about it. And one is, well, I have ads on my channel, but I'm very specific about never having ads in the middle of my videos. And I know YouTube is making some changes where I'm hoping this isn't going to change this on my channel, because I do not want ads in the middle of my videos, but I have them at the very beginning and at the very end, and that's it. That's how I have it set up anyway. So, because I don't like interruptions in the middle of the video, and when I've got a video out where I'm teaching you something, I don't want you to be right in the middle of it and then have a stupid interruption right in the middle of it. I hate that. I could make more money, maybe, if I did that, but doesn't matter. I don't want that. The other way is through affiliates. Now, some people will do sponsorships. I don't do sponsorships. That's just me, not interested. Sponsorships require you to make your own commercial, and you got to put it in pretty much at the end of every video, which I just don't want to do that. I have no interest in that. But affiliates are different in the fact that I can get a product such as the Nakano knives. That's one of the more recent ones. I can get a product, I can try it out, and the requirement to get a free product from any company is to do a review. And usually what will happen is when you agree to that, they also give you a special link that the people who are interested in buying that product can go through, and those people get like anywhere from a 10 to 20% discount, while I'll also make a commission off that sale. And so that's a really good win-win. But please understand, I am not going to keep talking about products. You know, if I try out a product and I'm like, you know, I don't really think it was worth it, I'll still do the review on it, but I'm going to be honest. But because that was what they asked for. Here's the review. I have the product. I may like it or I may not. I've had very few like that, but I'll be very honest. I have my hose link. I don't talk about it a whole lot, but I do like my hose link. I did do a video on that. I'm so grateful I have that. It has made my watering a lot easier in my garden. That's not something I actually make a commission off. I don't have an affiliate link for that. That was just a straight exchange, a review for the product, and that was it. But most of the time, it's a review for the product, plus you get the link to get a percentage off, and then we get a commission off of it. And then my green stock, I still use it, grow my strawberries in it every year. But like with something like that, though I really like it, I've thought about getting another one. I will also tell people that, hey, you know, this is really pretty cool if you have limited space, but if you can't afford it, there's other things that you can do to make the most out of your space. And I will share those things with you as well. And I have done that, like in my ways to save space, you know, ways to make the most of your garden. I can't remember what I called it, you know, small space gardening. And I have one called small space homesteading or something like that. When I talk about those things, I do try to make that exchange where if you can't afford to buy the product that I have and that I got for free in the first place, then I do try to share, not only be honest about what I feel about the product, but also try to share other ideas of ways that you can save money and have something similar, or maybe even something that's better for you and that will fit into your style. So that's how I try to work. But yes, we do. It does help us a lot. A couple of big ones is ButcherBox. I love ButcherBox, and anytime anyone signs up under ButcherBox, which, you know, if you want to learn more about that, I'll put a link to that video down below. But that link, the ButcherBox link, is always in the description box. But every time somebody signs up, I get $50 off my next purchase. Anytime anybody puts an order through Azure Standard, which is one of my favorite places, I'm sold on these places. I love them. And I go into detail and share, like Azure Standard is something because they have so much product. And I'm always trying something new every time I do another order. Then I'll talk about it again, and I get a 25, and anybody can do this one, and anybody can do that with ButcherBox. I get $25 off my next order anytime somebody goes through my link and orders $100 or more worth of product. And so that's really cool, and that's helped us out. So I'm able to help stock my pantry doing that. And it definitely makes it worth the time putting the videos out both on YouTube and on Rumble, which is extra work, which I don't make very much money off of Rumble ads, but it's extra work. But when people use our links, that does help make it worth our time. And if you're going to buy that product anyway, then that's pretty cool. But don't also ever feel that you have to buy any of the products through any of our links if you can't afford it. Never feel that way. I'm going to share with you what I think of a product. I love my Nakano knives, but not everybody's going to be able to afford going out and buying some nice Japanese knives. I am so grateful that I have them. I'm so grateful that the company was willing to work with me, but you know, I went for many years just doing the best I could with the knives I had, and they worked, and I made it through just fine. You don't have to have fancy Japanese knives to be able to prepare a dish. So I'm not going to try to force anything on you like that. I'm not going to make you feel like you're not going to be able to cook a good meal unless you have Nakano knives. You're not going to be able to preserve your foods the right way if you don't have this particular device to put your food up. No, I'm not going to do that. Just like dehydrators. Yes, I have my dehydrators back here, my Kasoris that I love, but I also have a video on all kinds of ways that you can dehydrate where you don't have to buy any special equipment to do it. So that's the kind of information I try to put out there. So anyway, that's how it works. So having these different little affiliates does definitely help us, and it makes for various different side incomes that will kind of trickle in and really help us out a lot. But again, never feel that you have to do that. Never feel that you have to donate. If you can't afford it, don't do it. Take the little money you have and put it into getting yourself in a better situation. If it's putting up a little bit more rice and beans and cocoa powder and cocoa butter for making your own homemade chocolate, which I have a lot of recipes on that too, then do that. If your funds are tight, that's where your money should go, not in feeling the need to purchase our products. We also sell products too. In fact, I have a video, if it hasn't come out yet, it will come out soon, about the kind of products that we make and sell, which I'll link to down below because I think it will publish before this one. And if you can't afford to do any of that, don't feel guilty and don't feel like you have to. Just remember, just watching and sharing our videos alone, which costs no money at all, that does help us a lot. And we appreciate that. And liking and commenting, even your dislikes help our channel, believe it or not. But of course, we all like the likes, but the dislikes help us too. So for those people who just dislike video, I mean, if you dislike a video because you don't agree with the content, that's one thing. If you dislike the video just because you hate me, because you're one of those petty people, I don't know why you keep watching my channel, but just know that every time you watch the video and you dislike it, you still are helping our channel to grow. So thank you for that. Then the last thing I wanted to cover is that I do talk about my faith, and you'll probably hear me talking about it more because I've really been going through some big changes as I've learned a lot more, and it's not something I'm going to cram down your throats. And I always make sure that you know ahead of time, either by the title of the video, that this is going to be about my faith. So you can always just skip that if you're not interested in that kind of thing. Or if it's something I'm talking about, like in a this and that video, I'll save it towards the end and I'll warn you before I start talking about it. But sometimes, because it is a big part of my life, you're still gonna hear a little bit of it here and there, because it is who I am and I'm not ashamed. Even though I try to be respectful of all of my followers and will not try to shove anything down anyone's throat or expect them to be like me, because it is the number one part of who I am, you will hear that seasoning of salt in almost every single video. Well, in every single video, because the way I start every video and I end every video with a scripture reference at the end. So anyway, just letting you know that, especially if you're new, I will, if I'm going to go deep into my faith or talk about it at all, or some of the changes God has made in my life, I will make sure I let you know so you can back out of the video. I hope you enjoyed this video, and that if you're new to my channel, welcome. I hope you enjoy it here. I hope you can learn a lot from what we both have to offer here. And just know too that I learn a lot from my subscribers as well through the years. And because of that, there's a lot of things I've changed the way I do things because of them. So it's great. It's really great having this channel and this community. So thank you to everyone who's been a part of my channel for a long time, and to all you new people as well. And thanks for watching. Take care and God bless.